Okay, human only run. Let's get it. Let's get the rules out of the way first. XP rate is 2.5 so I can keep up with leveling in the absence of being able to capture pals. Pal capture rate is set to 2x. I learned this doesn't actually make it easier to catch humans. Meteor supply drop interval is set to 60 minutes. Egg incubation time is set to instant, despite the fact that this does nothing. Drop all items except equipment upon death. Maximum work pals is set to 20, and obviously I can only capture humans. More on why maximum work pals is set to 20 later on though. Alright, here's my starting ideas for the beginning of this run. I'm going to need at least 3 different work suitabilities as quick as possible. Those are watering, planting, and kindling. Also harvesting, so actually 4 work suitabilities. And transporting, 5. These are the 5 work suitabilities you need to make sure your base can be self-sufficient. Kindling, less so, but those other 4 are very important so that you can have your pals eat and not starve to death when you're not in the base. Trust and believe, I have done playthroughs before on my own personal time where I did not have all 4 of those work suitabilities, and you come back to everyone starving to death and on 1 HP. It's not a fun sight to see all of your pals on death's door. But I do know where I can get all of the work suitabilities I need. Getting to them, though, is going to be a bit of a problem. A lot of them are in areas that are higher level or otherwise difficult to get to in general. I did thankfully find a source on Reddit that I have been using as a way to figure out where the humans I need are at. That way, I don't completely lose my mind running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I got some basic starting gear, you know, the usual, and then I attempted to capture that Expedition Survivor, I think is what she is called, and I used the good old campfire and hanging trap. This will be utilized a lot to capture a lot of humans. Anyway, I also discovered that if somebody, any pal, human, whoever you're trying to catch in your spear, has a damaging status effect such as poison or fire, it will carry over even when you put them in the spear. So when they come out, they will continue to be damaged. In other words, I failed to catch the Expedition Survivor because she died, because I was ignorant. I did, however, later on manage to catch a human. I'm not actually sure what this dude's name is, but he's the first guy in my party. So, pretty happy about that. After capturing that first guy, I did eventually get some more of friends, as I'm going to call them. But I wanted to let y'all sit here for a second and see just how long it takes to catch someone who's level 5, even using a fire and hanging trap. I had to sit here and just wait some more. This got a little annoying after a while, and I'm obviously never going to make you guys sit through this in its entirety again, but, you know, just kind of wanted y'all to know how long it took. I did this completely to myself, though. I have no one I can blame but myself. Soon after that, the next day, I got the 3rd human on our team. This random dude who sits over here. Now he sits by a nice farmer lady who has a little quest that we can do. I don't remember if I did the quest or not. I guess we'll see if I recorded it. After a bit of exploring, I came across this syndicate outpost. I engaged in battle, capturing, well, not many, more like a few of these syndicate thugs. I was really trying to wait for them and the pals they were fighting to finish duking it out, but it was taking too long, so I just jumped into the fray instead and started capturing. Unrelated to anything that just happened, look how sad this pal looks. I wish I could rescue him. After roughing up those ruffians... Oh, I'm so sorry. That was such a terrible joke. Anyway, after the syndicate camp, I went and decided to go ahead and fight Chile. It went pretty well, though at one point things were tense enough for me to feel the need to start making ammo in the middle of the fight. But I looked up while I was making ammo and realized there was absolutely no need for it. The one guy I had was absolutely handling business. I mean, Chile was still trying to kill me, but I could just let Homeboy handle all that for me. See, it's nice to have friends. Soon after, I began preparing for the perilous journey to Mount Obsidian. I needed to craft myself a tropical outfit in order to stave off the heat, since I would not have access to any ice pals, especially Chile. I hope y'all like that one. I enjoyed recording it at the very least. That one was funny. While trying to get the Messenger of Love, I noticed that Questgiver NPCs cannot be shrunk up. This is only a slight issue, as all you need to do is stick a fire directly underneath them, and that will work instead. They do tend to scoot off of the fire, so you will need to constantly scoot them back on to the fire, but it is what it is. Something else I have not mentioned are the work suit abilities I've gotten from the humans that I have been capturing. The two Pal Tamers, the Friendly Pal Tamer and the Veteran Pal Tamer, give me Handiwork level 2. All humans have Handiwork, but they have Handiwork level 2. The Messenger of Love and the Syndicate Thugs give me Planting and Watering, respectively. At the moment, I am only missing Transportation, which I will get later on, and Kindling, which will come much later on. I found this Lucky Pal and decided it'd be a great idea to try to fight it. That mistake in my logic was quickly rectified when he almost killed one of my guys with one single attack. You can see, the moment that happened, I started beelining for the teleport. I was getting out of there. Living is great. Looking for a human that could harvest, I ran into a Predator Relaxosaurus, and I kept running straight past it, hoping it did not see me. I did eventually manage to find a member of the Free Pal Alliance, a Devout, who has harvesting passives, which will allow me to grow and pick food without being at base. Also, found something new. Humans can have rainbow passives. Let's be honest, catching Zoe in this playthrough was mandatory. Everybody loves her, mostly because she's kind of goth, but you know how the internet can be with goth girls. But that's besides the point. I went and captured Zoe. Turns out she is immune to the... Well, not immune. She is susceptible to the Hellion Trap, despite the fact that she is a quest giver NPC. That was beneficial to me and allowed me to very easily catch her, which is good for me because I plan to use her for something special later on. Remember a while back when I said I was going to go to Mount Obsidian? Well, guess who finally decided to actually do that? So now I'm trekking towards Mount Obsidian, climbing over things that, to be honest, I didn't need to climb over this thing. I could have walked around it. This was just more direct, so I decided to go for it instead. Either way, on my way to Mount Obsidian, while I was digging through some trash, I got jumped by members of the Eternal Pyre, whatever they're called. Honestly, as you can see from the video, my reaction time was in the mud. Just so slow. I died, and I deserved it. Because why was my reaction time that of a snail? But look at this. Look how close I was to the waypoint for Fisherman's Port, or whatever it's called. Look how close I was there. That's just ridiculous. Oh well. At the end of the day, I did end up getting to the waypoint because I went to the waypoint first, and then afterwards I went and got my stuff. So it all worked out in the end. With a waypoint secured in case of my untimely death, I started trying to capture some of the members of the Eternal Pyre group. That way I can finally have a Kindling Pal. I initially was going to go after the boss in this area, but these guys were more available and easier to deal with without completely losing my mind and using every single spear I have, which almost happened anyway, so there's that. I wanted to set my base up on Mount Floppy Summit. There was a minor skirmish going on there between a group of Cinemoth and a group of Free Pal Alliance Devouts. I threw one of my guys out and had them fight for a bit, and then I made my PAL box and decided that the best course of action at this point was to just leave. Not all of my guys could reach the wood, so I decided to break my base down and move it over a little bit. However, this spawned a bunch more Free PAL Alliance dudes. We just fought it out this time. There was no running away. Then I went right back to setting up my base and moving things over slightly. After all the fighting, I did some quick base chores, and then I seen that a supply drop had fallen. So I went to go collect it. The loot was pretty decent and okay, nothing too crazy. While out and about mining ore, I noticed that the captured version of Zoe is immediately hostile to the version of her that you could find in the abandoned church. Fortunately, my version shot the metal merchant, which led to another death. That makes 2 so far. Whatever. I went back later on and double checked, and she is indeed just hostile to the other version of herself. Don't know why. Turncoat seemed like an easy fight, so I went ahead and went and captured him. It was pretty simple. Only took 1 spear, thank God. I might do this with the other towers as well, but for Zoe and Griswold, I just want to let y'all watch the boss fight without commentary or interruptions. So, enjoy. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drink plenty of water and get enough sleep. Goodbye.